All right. Hello. Welcome to class. Two pillows, one strap or a towel for today, all about the hips. So let's get started on the mats. We're going to start laying down on our backs. You'll want your two pillows right away. So bring one pillow next to your hips, the other pillow next to the other side of your hips, and find yourself in a lying down position. So lay down on your back, draw your knees out wide, and just try to shimmy those pillows next to your hips so you get kind of a nice support since we're just starting the practice out today. And before we do anything, we're just going to do a little check-in with our pelvic tilt. So we just want to do some little tilts forward and back, forward and back. You'll feel the small of your back lifting off of the mats and then pressing into the mats when you tilt your pelvis. And what you want to do is want to find a nice little in-between spot. We'll call that the neutral zone. And bring one hand to the belly, one to the chest. If you can, allow your eyes to close. If that's not comfortable for you, you can gaze towards your cheeks. Take a moment to acknowledge where you are right now. We'll start with the physical space. Noticing what room you're in, the feeling of your mat underneath you. The temperature of the air that touches your skin. Any sounds that are in the background. And start to go a little bit more inward, noticing how your bones are settling onto the ground. Can you relax them a little bit more? Noticing the physical self. Is there anything that feels sticky? And is there anything that feels really good right now? Just to have the space to lay down, to be mindful of where you are, of the present moment. Or maybe there's something that is on your mind that resonates in your body, finding tension here and there. Does anything ache? Does anything feel like it could relax a little bit more? Just take that moment right now to acknowledge where your physical self is right now. Now going into the mental self, taking notice of whatever thoughts are running through your mind. Anything that, even if you bring yourself to the present, is still there. It could be thoughts about what happened in the day, what's happening in the world, or what's happening after this class. Take time to acknowledge where your mental self is right now. Maybe whatever feeling comes up with whatever thoughts are running through your mind. How does that affect your mood? How does that affect your body? And starting to go into our breath. Noticing how you're breathing right now. Do you feel like your breath is shallow? Is it deep? Is it quick? Is it slow? Where does your breath go to? Take a moment to acknowledge where your breath is right now. And start to allow your physical self to soften a little bit more towards the ground. Imagine your face softening, and with that, whatever thoughts that come with it soften as well. And with a soft breath, we notice our chest rising, our belly rising on our inhale, our belly lowering, our chest lowering on our exhale. Here, let's take 10 breaths together, just noticing our chest rising, belly rising on our inhale, belly lowering, chest lowering on our exhale. On your next inhale, breathe in as deeply as you can. 1, 2, 3, and hold. Open mouth, sigh it all out. Inhale as deeply as you can. Fill the chest. Fill the belly. Fill as much as you can. And open mouth, sigh it all out. Inhale again. Breathe in as much as you can into the chest, into the belly. Fill a little bit more. Fill a little bit more. And open mouth, sigh it all out. Return yourself to normal breath. And bring both hands to your heart. If you haven't closed your eyes already, close your eyes just for this moment. And then acknowledge that you are right here, right now, in this space on your mats. Giving yourself movement and mental space. Allow yourself to acknowledge that this is for you. Giving your body, giving your mind some love. And start to draw your arms up overhead and start to stretch your legs out long. Feel a big long stretch as if you just woke up for a nice long nap. And getting into Bananasana, we're just going to bring our arms over to the right of our mat and bring our legs over to the right of our mat. Crossing our left ankle over our right. Inhaling, expanding into the left side of the body. Two more breaths. Find that inhale, imagining you're expanding completely on your inhale. And finding release on your exhale. Last breath here. And start to walk your limbs over to the left-hand side of the mats. Crossing your right ankle over the left. Just like a good old banana. So good for you. Take an inhale. Breathe into that right side of the body. And exhale, release. 2 more breaths here. Find your expanse. And find your release. Inhale, expand. Lengthen. And exhale, release. Draw yourself back to center. Draw your legs in, soles of feet to the ground, knees towards the ceiling. We're just going to bring our pillows out to the side here for a little bit. We're just going to draw our arms out wide to a T and windshield wiper our legs from side to side. Maybe you bring your neck movement in here. And bring yourself to center, hands behind your thighs. Rock and roll a few times. Give yourself a nice little massage on the spine. Maybe your spine is cracking like mine always does. When you're ready, meet me in tabletop pose. Shoulders stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees. And we're gonna just draw both fingertips towards our body here. If this is too intense for you, walk your knees in slightly. If it is not, do not do that. Shoulders stacked over wrists as much as you can. Inhale, drop belly, rise chest. Imagine your neck stretching out in the front. Draw your chin up and gaze behind you, finding a big stretch in your eyeballs here. And start to tuck your tailbone, starting to find your rounded back. Drawing your mid-spine towards the ceiling, upper spine towards the ceiling, gaze towards your navel. Press away from the ground with your arms. Tilt your spine, your pelvis forward, starting to draw that lower back towards the ground, mid-back towards the ground. Drawing your chest forward towards the front of your mat. Lift the chin, gaze up behind you. Tilt the spine, draw the lower back towards the ceiling, mid-back towards the ceiling, upper back towards the ceiling, gaze towards your navel, press away from the ground. Tilt that pelvis again, draw that lower belly, that belly towards the ground, chest towards the ground and towards the front of the mat. Draw your chin up tall, gaze behind you. One last round, tailbone tucked under, draw the back spine towards the ceiling, gaze towards your navel, press away from the ground. Slowly draw yourself to neutral spine. And find yourself bringing your fingertips out to the sides of your mat. In this pose, we're going to do 3 rounds of cat-cow on your own time. Maybe you go to the sides. Maybe you go towards the back of the mat. Find whatever feels good and maybe follow your intuition here. What does your body need? What does your body crave right now? When you're ready, meet me back in neutral pose and start to rock from side to side, shoulders reaching towards your fingertips. Bring yourself to center. Draw your fingertips forward and bring your right leg out to the side. Start to rock yourself front to back here, opening up in the groin. I found a creaky spot in my floor. And just keep rocking. Maybe you find yourself wiggling gently from side to side. Wiggle those hips, wiggle those shoulders. I always like to get a lot of good spine movement in because my spine gets really sticky. And one last time, start to bring your shoulders past your fingertips. And we're just getting a stretch into the wrists here and just opening up and lubricating our wrist bones. Slowly start to lean your weight back towards your heels and draw yourself as long as you can. Maybe your sit bones reach your heel and find a little rest. Imagine your arms are kind of like in that active child's pose or downward dog, feeling a stretch into your armpits. Maybe your gaze is towards your navel here. You can start to lift your right toes towards the ceiling, and it'll change the dynamic of your stretch in your groin and your leg. Slowly start to draw yourself back up to that tabletop pose. Lean your way into your left leg. Draw your right leg back and heel up towards the ceiling. We're just going to find little circles here, drawing your knee out to the side, back to the center, into the back. Reverse direction. And bring that right knee down. Lean into right leg, left leg comes out to the side. Find yourself leaning front and back. If you need to do a little spinal wiggle, get into your shoulders a little bit. And maybe even if you're like, oh, what a good time to do some wrist action, you could flip your fingertips towards your body, though it might not be for everyone right now. And if you did that, bring your fingertips back towards the front of your mat. Start to lean forward so that your shoulders are trying to surpass your fingertips here. And slowly start to bring yourself back towards your right heel. Feeling a stretch into your armpits, drawing your spine long first and maybe gazing towards your navel. And then here you'll start to draw your left toes towards the ceiling, changing the dynamic of the stretch. Slowly start to draw yourself back up to center. Lean into that right leg, left leg back. Tuck your toes. Draw yourself up to squatted dog. Knees as bent as you can first. Draw your spine long here. Heels draw as high as you can. Start to shift them over to the right side. Bring them down to the ground. Legs are still bent. And draw your left hip away from you. One more full breath here. Exhale it all out. Start to pivot those feet back to center. Heels still up, legs bent. Draw the heels over to the left-hand side. Bring those heels down and start to send that right hip away from you. Deep inhale. And deep exhale. Slowly draw those heels back to center. And find a slow walking of the dog, bending deeply into one leg, straighten the other leg out. And switch legs. We're making sure to keep our shoulders activated here so that we can keep that long spine, keep that focus on the legs today. And when you're ready, start to find stillness here. Your legs do not have to be straight, but you want to try to actively be reaching those sit bones up towards the ceiling and actively reaching those heels down towards the ceiling. Crown of head is reaching towards your thumbs here. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk as slowly as you can to the front of your mat. Feet as wide as the mat here. Bend deeply into your legs. Grab opposite elbows, find ragdoll pose. And with this wide-legged bend, we're just going to focus on the spine first. Allow yourself to sway gently from side to side. And maybe you nod yes and no. And we're going to start to straighten one leg, bend deeply in the other, and switch off those legs. Of course, this is your own practice. If there's a space you want to occupy in this movement, I welcome you to. And slowly make your way to center. Draw your hands down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll up as slowly as you can to stand. Arms reach up high. Exhale, cactus, arms, chest draws up toward the ceiling. Inhale, arms up high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant hands, step back to plank. Knees down, lower down to the ground. Hands outside of the mat. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, roll down to the ground. Hands outside chest, tuck toes. Draw yourself up to tabletop, up to downward dog. Allow yourself to settle here. One full breath. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step outside right hand. Allow yourself to rock back and forth here. Drop back knee, rise chest, cow lunge. Straighten both legs, round the back, cat lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Bring your weight into your front leg and send it back to your left leg. Bend deeply. Maybe you support yourself with your hands. Go into Skandasana here. Linger here, one full breath. And press off with that left leg up towards the front of your mat. Draw yourself up to Malasana pose. Heels in, toes out, spine long. Allow yourself to sit down with the weight of your hips. Draw your spine as tall as you can. And if you can, bring yourself to heart center, your hands to heart center. Hands down to the ground. Lift the hips up high. Draw the heels out, toes in here. Inhale, halfway lift. Draw your hands behind you. Clasp hands or opposite elbows. Hands draw long here. Inhale. And find your forward folds. Start with that flat back first. Kind of wiggling your sit bones up towards the ceiling before you round your back down. Weight into the balls of the feet. Find yourself releasing down to the ground a little bit more. If you have those clasp hands, start to draw those hands towards the front of your mat. Imagine yourself wringing out your shoulders. Sit bones still reaching high here. Toes in, weight into the balls of the feet. Allow your head to be heavy. Hands and arms are heavy. Slowly draw your hands back towards your sacrum. Inhale, halfway lifts. Release the clasp. Hands down to the ground. Bring weight into your right foot, left foot steps back, knee down. Draw yourself back to half split. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. If you need any support, find something to support yourself, a chair, a block, or you can use your leg, just mind the knee, don't press your weight on your knee. One more halfway lift. And forward fold. Draw your right foot in towards your hip socket here. Notice what happens. Hands down to the ground if you can. Find that slight bend into your right leg. And we're going to hop it over to the other side of the mat. Ooh, yes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. One more breath here. Start to bend into that front leg and drop that right knee down. Instead of full pigeon pose yet, we're full half pigeon pose. We're going to lean into that right thigh, draw that left knee so that it's parallel with our hips. So if you want to see me a little bit better, you're going to look like a pinwheel. So draw your spine up long and forward fold here. Inhale long, forward fold. One more time. Inhale long and forward fold. Inhale up. Switch over to the other side. So you're going to lift both knees up and just draw yourself over, dropping those knees down. Inhale long, forward folds. Two more times. Inhale, forward fold. Inhale, and forward fold. Draw yourself back over towards that right leg. Hands down to the ground. Left leg back, right leg back, plank pose. Knees down, lower down to the ground. Hands outside of the mat. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, left shoulder down. Inhale up to center. Exhale, right shoulder. Inhale up to center. Exhale down to the ground. Hands outside of chest. Make your way to tabletop to downward dog. One full breath here. Exhale it all out. Inhale, left leg high. Step outside of left hand. Rock back and forth here. Allow your hips to feel heavy. Find some opening here. Right knee drops down. Inhale, draw your chest up. Exhale, cat lunge. Round the back, straighten both legs. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Bend into that right leg. Draw your weight forward. And then send it back to the left. Bend deeply. Find that skandasana. Maybe you support yourself with your hands. And allow your weight to be heavy in the hips. Find that opening. One more full breath. And start to draw yourself forward. Weight into left foot. Right leg draws up. Malasana squat. Hips down towards the ground. Find length in the spine. Grow tall. One more breath. Hands down to the ground. Look down. Press your hip bones up. Toes in, heels out. Draw those hip bones up tall first. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands clasp or opposite elbows. If you can, try to goofy grip what you did from last time. And find your forward fold. Hinging at the hips first, allowing your sit bones to rise. Weight into the balls of your feet. And when you're ready, allow your chest to release down to the ground, head to be heavy. If your hands are clasped, draw them towards the front of your mat. Allow your arms to be heavy. Imagine yourself wringing out your shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift. Draw your hands towards your sacrum, unclasp, hands down to the ground. Draw your right leg back to the back of the mat, knee down, half splits. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Allow your spine to be long here. Plug that left heel into towards its hip socket. Inhale, halfway lift. Start to hop or wiggle that left foot over to the opposite side of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. One full breath here. And exhale it out. Start to lean forward into that left leg. Draw that left knee down to the ground. Lean into the left leg. Draw your right knee up so it's parallel with your hips. Inhale, draw yourself tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, tall. Exhale, fold forward. One more time. Inhale, tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, tall. Shift your weight towards that left foot. That's your right foot. Right foot. Knees down. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up. And start to bring yourself back to the front of your mat. Hands down. Right leg extends back to plank. Left leg meets. Knees down. Lower down to the ground. Hands outside of the mat. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, all the way down. Hands outside of your chest. Tuck the toes. Make your way to child's pose. Knees out, wide, toes to touch. Draw your hips back. And bring your forehead to the ground if you can. Starting with active arms first. Imagining yourself expanding your side body with each inhale. And on your next exhale, allow your arms to be heavy to the ground. 3 full breaths here. Start to tense your right fingertips onto the ground. Lift the palm up. Allow your right arm to be active here. Start to draw your chest up slightly. And start to thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. Open your body up towards the right side. Maybe you're peeking at something. I don't know where you're looking. Maybe you're peeking under your right armpit towards your left fingertips. Finding an opening in the left shoulder. Imagining your scapula, your shoulder blade grazing open, melting open. Finding release. And finding a little twist in the spine here. One more breath. With the weight of your fingertips, start to lift yourself back up to center. Draw that left hand forward. And bring your left fingertips and draw that right hand through the left armpit. Gaze under your left armpit. And start to open up here. Finding a gentle pressure onto your right shoulder. Shoulder blade opening up. Finding a gentle twist in your spine. And maintaining a heaviness of your hips towards your heels. One more breath here. And start to find your way into your left hand. Draw that right hand forward. Bring yourself up to seated. So we'll do a little bit of neck work because I love necks, and then a couple of longer poses. So allow yourself to just find a comfortable seat. Maybe you sit on one of your pillows or both. And we're just going to do some shoulder rolls. And start to reverse direction of those shoulders. Draw your left arm out to the side. Reach your left arm over for your right ear. Allow your head to be heavy towards your left shoulder. And here, we'll start to just give a nice little shoulder roll in the right shoulder. Well, during this pose, try not to only let gravity do its work here. There's no pressing of the head towards anything, just a gentle weight of your hands. And if it feels good to you, you can bring your right palm out and away from you. If that's too much, don't do it. But if it's not, start to bring your right fingertips towards your right shoulder. Hello, myself. And start to bring that palm back away from you. Right fingertips towards your shoulder, reminding yourself, I have an arm. And then bring it away. One more time, fingertips towards your shoulder. And then bring that palm away from you. Slowly draw your head back up to center. Left hand releases. Bring your chin to chest, look down. And draw your chin up. Let your head hang up. Chin to chest. And draw your chin up. Bring yourself back to center. Right hand out to the side. Bring it over to the left ear. let your weight hang out onto your right shoulder. And start to do little shoulder rolls with that left shoulder if that feels good to you. Just allowing gravity to do its work. And if it feels good to you, you can start to bring that left palm away from you. And start to curl your hand in so that your left fingertips tickle your shoulder. And left palm away from you. Fingertips towards your shoulder. One more time, left palm away. And fingertips towards your shoulder. Bring your left hand down and start to release that head, bring it back to neutral. This time just draw your head gently from side to side. If you have a tender neck right now, you can always use your hands' help. We are also, you could pretend you're in a Britney Spears music video, if you want to do that. And bring yourself back to center. Okay, before we lie down, we're gonna get into pigeon pose. Ah, what a beautiful pose. Okay, so there's some options here. And I do think that it is nice to have some extra support. So if you have blocks, if you have more pillows, I say go crazy. Okay, so we're gonna start out with our right leg. So I'm gonna draw my right leg over my pillow. And it's gonna be towards the left side of the mat. And I'm gonna start to draw that right knee out. And using the support of these pillows, I'm just gonna lean onto that right leg until I feel comfortable drawing myself to center. And you might have your right leg kind of hugging these pillows, and I kind of want to show you a little bit more. So I'm gonna do a nice little angled pose here. I got a nice little like leg pillow hug going on. So what you want to do is try to square your hips towards the front of your mat as much as you can. Look behind you. Left leg should be straight behind, not going wonky-eyed. And start to draw your chest long, draw your spine as long as you can. Start to find your forward fold here. And if you are limited here, you might be needing some cushions, needing a chair, needing an ottoman to hang out on. If you have the ability to, maybe you hang out on the ground, maybe you prop yourself up with another pillow underneath your head. We'll be here for a bit, so make yourself as comfortable as you can. And since I did not set up a clock, I'm going to say hello. Okay. We're going to stay here for about 6 more breaths. Allow your hips to be heavy. Allow whenever you can, be heavy, be heavy. Loosen the jaw. And if you have thoughts that keep floating in and out, just allow them to. I think sometimes we have a lot of stuff going on all the time, and we don't give ourselves space to linger over the thing that we need to think about. So it's totally okay if you need to be there. But if you need to be here, right now, I totally welcome you to do that. Last breath. And start to press yourself up with your arms, with your forearm, your hands. You're going to start to lean onto that right hip. And just swing that leg over. There's probably a graceful way to do that. But draw yourself back. Find a little downward dog really quick. And we're just going to find a figure eight with our right knee while our left leg is in downward dog. Draw that right leg up high. Open up to scorpion pose. And slowly draw yourself down. Bring yourself back to kneel position. And onto the left leg. We're going to bring our left leg over our pillows, over onto the right side of the foot is going to be on the right side of the mat. We're going to lean ourselves onto that left thigh. And maybe our leg curls in for a nice little pillow hug. Draw that right leg back. Look behind you. Make sure it's long. Square your hips up towards the front of the mat. Spine long. And exhale, start to find yourself wiggling down. If you need that prop, get that extra prop. Imagine your hips growing as heavy as they can down towards the ground. And if you can you allow your shoulders to relax? Can you allow your head to relax? Can you allow your feet to relax? About 5 more breaths here. And start to press yourself up using your hands, using your arms. And lean onto that left side. And start to swing your left leg back. Hands down into the ground. Find your downward dog and draw figure eights with that left knee. Draw your left leg high up to three-legged dog. Find your scorpion dog. Left leg up high. And bring yourself to downward dog. Knees down. And bring yourself down to seated. Swing those legs in front of you. And we're going to lie down onto the ground. Drawing our spine as long as you can. Find little wiggles on your lower back. And bring yourself into happy baby. Hands around the outside of your feet. Drawing your knees out wide. If you want some added movement, maybe you rock yourself gently from side to side, massaging that spine, massaging that lower back. Maybe you straighten one leg, maybe you straighten the other. Find whatever feels right to you. This is your chance to explore. Or maybe you just find stillness, allowing weight, allowing gravity to do its thing. Sometimes all we need is time to make some space. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths, allowing your arms to be as heavy as you can, finding space between the brow, and finding ease in our breath. Gently start to release those legs and bring yourself into Savasana pose. Give yourself this moment to feel all the things that you're feeling right now. Noticing your surroundings, temperature on your skin, how your body lays on the mat, what your texture of the mat, the texture of your clothes, the sounds that surround you. Going into your body, noticing what feels good. What parts of your body are feeling ease right now. And going into our mental states, noticing where we are right now. What you're feeling right now. What thoughts you have right now. Acknowledging that you are here right now. Bring yourself into your breath, allowing yourself to release any tension held in the belly, that you can breathe naturally here, that you have the power to breathe. You have the space to breathe. And now feel space to be right here in final Savasana. We'll end this practice in Savasana. Allow yourself to be here as long as you need to be. With that, I'm grateful for sharing this practice with you. Bring my hands to heart center. Namaste.